Hello and welcome to another Gran Turismo Sport Manufacturers Cup commentary, and this time it is Interlagos Group 4. With my qualifying, I managed to get a slipstream this time, so everything turned out pretty well. I got a bit ragged in the first corner through the center S's. I've been struggling a little bit on pace here for some reason. I just wasn't where I probably could have been, probably about half a second down in general. So overall I wasn't expecting too much here, but this is one of those things, give it a go and you never know what might happen. So far I'm not looking too bad in this qualifying lap. I know Jackal's had a similar pace in Group 4 in other races, so I kind of knew I could follow him fairly easily and hopefully get the advantage from the slipstream. So through the sector I'm just trying to get the car turned in as much as possible, try to be early on the power, try not to step out the rear over the curbs, use as much of this curve as possible. And I didn't really have a braking point until the last corner, so I was a little bit hit and miss with it. It's like sometimes I'd hook it up perfectly, other times I'd lose like 2/10 from having a bad exit. So coming to the finish line, and it's a reasonable lap. It's actually my best lap by quite a long way, to be honest. So heading into the race, even though I set my best qualifying lap by probably about 4/10 over anything else I'd done, I'm in the lofty position of 19. So yeah, expectations, as I was saying, are not very high here at the moment. I'm not expecting a good result. If I can move forward, then I'll be happy here. That's my only goal, to try to get further forward. Because I hadn't really had a whole lot of actual race practice. I'd done a lot of running on my own, so the actual race start is something not done a lot of. So I warmed the tyres up a bit and then I missed my braking point and just get completely out of shape. So Vulcan Spirit behind's got a good run on me. So I was looking at the radar at this point, I can see he's got the inside, he's going to go for that move, so I lift and essentially give him the place. But try to go for a cutback. He gets a little bit out of shape on power. Coming into this corner, I take it a little bit wider because we're having a nice respectful racing here, leaving each other quite a lot of space. That's all good racing there. I possibly could have been a bit more aggressive and had the position, but I'd rather have a good clean race than turn it into a wreck fest. So now just getting ready to settle into the slipstream train and hopefully take advantage of any opportunities to move forward. because that's the only place I can go from here. End of lap 1, down in last place. It's not looking too good. Okay, so I'm going to skip forward a couple of laps because lap 2 and 3, nothing much really happened. I gained 2 positions on lap 2 because somebody took a penalty and somebody ran wide, but other than that it was literally just follow the leader. Right, with the battle up in front, I get too good of an exit there, so I end up alongside, and that gives the Lexus behind me the inside for the corner. So I thought he was going to go for the lunge, but he taps me, and then that sends me into Vulcan Spirit. So it's a little bit annoyed with that, but it was really close racing. You can't really blame somebody for a slight tap when everyone's grouped up so closely. So again, just settling back in and looking for an opportunity. Because I've noticed through these first few laps that there are certain parts of the track where I'm quite a lot faster. It's mostly through this middle sector. I was fairly consistent through it. It's like the last corner was the one that I had most trouble out of. Well, as you can see here, it's just I just lost a load of time out of the corner, and the Toyota behind me's pulled right up onto the back of me. But considering the Toyota's not a very fast car in a straight line, I'm able to keep that position fairly easily. Trying to be nice and smooth into turn 1. I do run a little bit deep, which compromises me through the rest of this NRS. But having that little bit of a gap in front, it actually put me a little bit more at ease. It actually let me use some of my pace rather than, you know, worrying about, you know, missing braking points and hitting people. I don't like being too close the whole time. So if like there's a gap like this, if I know I'm in a position where I'm not going to make a move yet, then I actually don't mind having a bit of a gap because I could just pull back up. Well, I see that chaos happens, you know, everyone fighting, everyone really close. They're very slow through the corner, and they give the Lexus a small tap because they're so slow, and that compromises me into here, so the Toyota takes the inside line, and I'm now back into last place. So halfway into the race and I basically made no progress. You know, it's a little bit disheartening, but I've seen from the lap times that I should be a little higher up than I am at the moment. It's just circumstances have just not been on my side at this point. So, like I said before, the Toyota's not the fastest in a straight line, so I'm able to take that position back into this lap. So now, again, in the slipstream, a bit of a gap in front of me. I can use some of my pace to try to close the gap. Because I've been doing a lot of running on my own, like I mentioned earlier, so in clean air I was a lot more comfortable than I was following in a slipstream. This corner, there's a bit of battling, the GTR gets out of shape and that catches the other two off guard, the Lexus and the Ford, so I'm able to just drive straight through the middle of it. You got to take those opportunities when they arise. It's two cars slightly offline, straight through the middle. Perfect move, and now I'm in perfect position to attack the GTR, who looks like he might be struggling a bit at this point. looks, generally the Nissan GTR's had a lot more tyre wear issues than most cars in Group 4. So even when it's fast, it does tend to drop off. Coming into this corner, I wasn't expecting to make a move, I was just going to follow through, but he brakes really early and I hit my braking point exactly normal. I get it stopped pretty much on the apex and he turns into the side of me a little bit, but it was a perfectly fair move. I didn't force him out of the way. Now I've got an open gap in front of me. Hopefully I can use some of the pace that I mentioned earlier and try to catch up the group in front. Still, with everything being a bit close, you've got to be a little bit wary of people taking lunges back at you, though. That's the only other thing I was thinking. It's like, I need to move forward because I know I've got a little bit more pace in my lap times, so I need to catch that group in front, but I also need to lose the people behind. So keeping it as smooth as possible through here, try not to slide the car too much, get on power early as possible. Which I didn't do the best job out of that corner, but didn't lose me too much time. Now I'm going to have another time skip up to the start of lap 10. Just so at this point I have now closed the gap down slightly. It's only by a little bit, but with the Ferrari in front, I think it's Ferrari. Yeah, makes a mistake, so I'm able to get into the slipstream properly, and with the penalty as well, I know I've got a pretty good shot here. So there's been some fighting up in front, a bit of chaos going on. So obviously something's happened that I haven't quite seen with some of these cars in front. Got the Corvette with a penalty. You can notice the Ferrari up in front of this pack here starts slowing down drastically, and he's intentionally trying to take out the Corvette. You can see that, and then both of them, I look on the radar, I see that coming from a mile off. Try to stay tight, but obviously as the Corvette's spinning in front of me, I make some contact. I was actually really worried about getting a penalty for that, but in actual fact it actually probably helped him, because he would have been spinning out a lot more than he was. I think the Lexus gives the Corvette a bump as well coming out of the last corner, so he gets a really good run, so he takes the position back. I'm kind of a bit worried, why is he fighting so hard with him having a penalty, but because when people have nothing to lose, they make some reckless decisions sometimes. So I lift and then brake, and then I start losing the rear a little bit. Managed to stop from bumping him, so keep my distance. I don't want to make this person who seems to be angry already any angrier, because if his attention turns to me, then that could be the end of my race, especially on the last lap. I'm always a little bit worried about going through ghost cars, even if the penalty is still quite significant. I mean, I could have gone straight through the middle of him, but I went a little bit to the left, just peace of mind kind of thing. And now in this last lap, I noticed on previous laps that the Lexus wasn't really keeping with me. It's like for those few laps that I skipped, like 8 and 9, I actually dropped him out of the slipstream as I was getting in the slipstream to the pack in front, so I kind of knew I could hold him off at this point, but I just needed to focus on not making any mistakes. Again, I just need to get a decent run out of this last corner, which I managed to. So now with this gap, I'm thinking I'm safe, but you never know over the slipstream. Sometimes cars can catch you really quickly. So throughout this whole straight, the gap's just going to be coming down and down and down and down, and I'm far enough in front to get an 11th place. So 19th up to 11th. I got a good race out of it, and considering I was off the pace for most of this combo, I'm actually happy with this. I hope you enjoyed this commentary, and I'll see you again probably for Spa Group 4.